We sit down. Good evening, and brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. On behalf of Shakyamuni Vihara Management Committee and personally myself, we warmly welcome Bhante all the way from Kuala Lumpur, and also we welcome all the brothers and sisters as well. So I make this opportunity to thank the Bhante, so kind of him, all the way from Kuala Lumpur, come tonight to deliver his Dhamma sermon. We are really fortunate to have Bhante here tonight, and we truly thankful for coming over here. And without further delay, I don't take much time, and we invite Bhante to deliver his Dhamma sermon tonight in Shakyamuni Vihara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Dear Bhante Chandima and Bhikkhuni Sadhante, and all the Kalyan Mittras who have gathered here to listen to this Dhamma talk, and we would call it a Vasana Dhamma talk. A Dhamma talk that is given during the Vasana time. So, as you know, when I would say you offer dana during the Vasana time, there's a belief that it creates more karma, good karma. So in the same way, I think discussing, delivering, sharing Dhamma during Vasana time potentially create more good karmas. So before we get started, I would like to pay homage to the Buddha, and then we will delve into the talk for today. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Kalyan Mittras, Dhamma friends, I see that the Shakyamuni Buddhist members, dieters, I would say devotees, at the same time well-wishers, and some of our friends from the online Pali class on Thursday. And most of you have gathered here. So on the Dhamma wise, I would like to say Anumodana at the beginning, before we start off the Dhamma talk. And today's Dhamma talk will be topic as the power of the noble friendship, Kalyana, and generosity, Dana. This is, I would say, the framework of our Dhamma journey. Framework. So that means without Kalyana Mitra, noble friendship, and understanding the correct way, I would say, proper way of being generous according to the Buddha, our Dhamma journey would stagnate, would not flourish. That means it is therefore very important to understand these two general topics to many in bit more details. One day, Bhante Anand, who is Bhante Anand? Anybody knows? Who is he? Buddha's attendant. Was he attendant? The attendant? There were many Buddha's great attendants, but after some time, the Buddha needed kind of a long-term somebody who can be with him. So there were other monks like Chunda, Nagasamala, and so on and so forth. But then he chose Bhante, and then he had to take care of him in the best possible way. What happened in a different way was that he was not able to practice Dhamma rather than listening and recording them in his own. So this made a problem at the first council, because he was the one who knew everything about suttas, Dhamma in particular, but he was not an enlightened monk, Arahant monk. So the other senior monks advised him to become an Arahant before joining the first council. Anyways, that's not our emphasis. Our emphasis is that one day Bhante Ananda said this to the Buddha. Bhante, I think Kalyana Mittaka, that means having a noble friend or noble friendship, represent only half of our Dhamma journey. Now we all deal with our own personal Dhamma journey. And he thought, and he said to the Buddha, that half of that, 50%, if you go by mathematical things, 50% of that Dhamma journey depends on our level of quality of the noble friendship. And the Buddha said, no, do not say so. The entire Dhamma journey, entire spiritual journey depends on how strong, how good is our noble friendship. That means, if you think that you have to go on your spiritual journey, Dhamma journey alone, but without Kalyana Mitras, you are not able to improve, I would say, bring to the next level. Otherwise, you will just stuck with your Dhamma knowledge. You don't have somebody to discuss. You don't have somebody to be motivated. Oftentimes we know Dhamma, but we are not motivated, inspired. We just being lazy. We know meditation is good. We know learning Dhamma is good. We know cultivating wholesome thoughts, alobha, adosa, amoha, dana, metta, panya is good, but no energy, no inspiration, no motivation. Where does that motivation come from? Kalyana. That's interesting. I don't know whether how many of you have thought about it. Maybe a wrong understanding could be, I have books, I learn Dhamma from online, and I understand in my own capacity, that's it. But it might not work to the actual, true Dhamma journey. Now the question arises, whether we have Kalyana Mittas already? Now to answer this question, the Buddha said, we should have at least 2 Kalyana Mittas, at least. Do not worry, everyone has 1 Kalyana Mitta already. Who is he or who is she? The Buddha says, I am the first Kalyana Mitta to everyone. Because of my Dhamma, everybody gets to learn the purification, how to become a better person, and then to purify myself to attain Nibbana. So I am already the first Kalyana Mitta to anybody. So those of them who say, we don't have Kalyana Mittas, do not worry about it. You already have 1 Kalyana Mitta, that is the Shakyamuni Buddha. For the second one, do we have to follow up with somebody? Yes. We should have somebody in our life as a second Kalyana, because Buddha is not anymore living with us. That means we need someone who is living with us. Mostly, We don't go by the peers because peers may have different understanding. We normally look for a teacher, Dhamma teacher, who has more practice. At the same time, we may be looking for peers, like-minded people like you, who can have a sense of camaraderie, who can have a sense of admirable friendship, right? So we are looking for the second Kalyana Mitra this way. Now the problem again is, what is Kalyana Mitra? Like, how do we understand that? There is a Pali Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, Dikajana Sutta. In this Dikajana Sutta, the Buddha says, Kalyana Mitra is someone who has advanced his or her practice in Saddha, Sila, Chaga and Panya. Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya. That means in order for you to consider that you have a Kalyana Mitra, that particular person must have cultivated Saddha, which means trust about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and then trust about oneself, self-confidence as well. And Sila, which means virtue or morality or the good behavior, both body-wise and speech-wise. And Chaga, someone who has advanced, improved his or her generosity, and someone who has been intensifying his or her panya, wisdom. So you have to look for somebody like that. Oftentimes, this person could be someone who has surpassed your level of Saddha, Sila, Chaga. You can feel that. It is like when you meet a knowledgeable person. He or she knows more than you, so of course you understand not that knowledgeable, right? So you get to that point. And you feel that Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya are my Saddha, my Sila, my Chaga, my Panya are actually being surpassed by this person's, the way that person behaves, the way that person being generous, the way that person thinks and acts on certain things. Okay? That is a true Kalyana, which means someone who has surpassed your levels of Saddha, Sila, Chaga. That means Kalyana Mitras are not just those who sit down and then listen to Dhamma talks. It's a way beyond interpretation. It is good at least someone who has not teamed up with you for good things. It is also good at least they chant together. Let's say you go into a chanting class and you feel that your chanting pronunciation is not that good, you feel that. Maybe I am being motivated, I am being inspired by my friend, so I better keep a good friendship. Then when you go to a retreat, when you go to a Dhamma talk, and you feel that I can learn a lot of things, especially Dhamma in practice, rather than Dhamma in knowledge. We need Dhamma in knowledge, and also most importantly, Dhamma in practice. So try to think about these deeper levels of Dhamma practice of somebody who you can say a true Kalyana. So you should have at least 2 Kalyana Mitras. As I said earlier, you already have 1 Kalyana Mitra. Who is he? Shakyamuni Samma Sambuddha at that point. And then the second Kalyana Mitra is a challenge to many, so you should be able to find. If you are good, good people will come to you. If you are mean, rude, bad people will join with you. That's the secret. So then at least 2 Kalyana Mitras. And then, as I said to you, how do you understand Kalyana Mitra is by the ways of Saddha, Sila, Chaga. So you can feel that your friend has more Saddha. I don't think that you don't know about Saddha, right? Let me sort of brief it. Saddha basically means an unwavering trust about the Buddha, an unwavering trust about the Dhamma, an unwavering trust about the Sangha. You are not going to be moved by anything about the Buddha. You always trust. And you always trust about the Dhamma. And you always trust about the Sangha. You are not going to, involve in discussions or bad things about the Sangha. That's too bad. Everywhere there are bad people, right? You should not create bad karma by talking unnecessary things. What you call sampapala, right? If you, what you are supposed to do is that your trust, saddha, has to be unwavering. If it is not unwavering, today you are a very respectful devotee, tomorrow you are like, bad places, bad community, and you are going to find fault about different people, which itself creates a lot of bad karma. Saddha is like that. And the second meaning of saddha is the good trust about other people. Actually, this is very important. If you don't have trust, then there are a lot of misunderstandings going on. If you have a doubt, please clear it out. Do not keep doubts within you, because it is a hindrance, nivarana. Right? Doubts hinder us from seeing the reality. It's like you are looking at something through another layer of a color. You see everything. Let's say you're looking at something through a red color, something, then everything will become reddish to you. Right? In the same way, we have to, take that away and then see the naked truth. And then that will be what you call by seeing things as they are. In other words, vipassana. Trust is very important. Second is sila. As I said, sila is very important. Now I think we are going to talk about sila a little bit with dana. One thing that I can notice, a lot of people think sila is not important, especially for meditation. If you want to meditate, cultivate good thoughts, you should have some amount of sila. Otherwise, you will come up with a lot of kilesas, asavas. Something, let's say you did something wrong today morning. You didn't have sila today morning. And now you are going to offer dana today by the noon time. Maybe you are going to do a meditation by tonight. That thought will keep coming onto your mind. Because sila primarily prepares you for a purification level of that particular activity that is coming after. You can't just push it away. But too much sila is also a problem. If you are too much into sila, it is also a problem, because sila is just a clearing practice. Do not over practice sila too. Otherwise you will practice some unnecessary thing from the sila. And then chaga is giving up of lobha, dosa, moha. That is very important. So kalyana mitra should have that too. And panya is being very wise in understanding. Alright, now you know who is a kalyana mitra. Who is a kalyana mitra? Someone who has advanced in the practice of saddha, sila, chaga, panya. They are not mere practitioners. They have to practice saddha, sila, chaga, panya. Of course, most of you have been practicing. Okay? Most of you have been practicing dana, what you call saddha, sila, chaga, panya. But what you need is, you need to intensify, improve your practice. Not just doing it as a cultural practice only. Going into further level of that practice without disrespecting Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Alright, what are the issues with Kalyana Mitras? Now, why can't some people get along with other Kalyana Mitras? When people are into good things, some people, they end up with some intoxications. I am better than you. You might be perhaps lower than me in the practice. I have good sila, better than you. I go to a lot of good places and I do more dana. So these are issues. These are hindrances to our kalyana mitra friendship. And be very careful. I want to warn you. If you do a good thing, never ever compare your quality of spirituality, your Dhamma journey, with anybody. please make everybody else as a mere inspiration. Let them do their own journey. Let me do my own journey. Right? So you are not troubled by anybody's progress of whatever progress or downfall of their practice. So if you do not compare other people's, other Kalyana Mitra's practice to you, then you are balancing out your practice. You are moderately going on your Dhamma journey. For those who do not do that, and those who are always moved by other people's things, they have issues with other Kalyana Mitras. By doing a good thing, you never want to make a problem, right? When you are doing good things, definitely you should be friendly to other people. You should be looking at their practice with mudita, with a happy mind. Right? On the other hand, why are we sometimes running out of our Kalyana Mitra practice? Lack of consistency. Today you come to the temple, or maybe today you do a practice, but tomorrow, maybe unless you have an emergency, you might sometimes, stay away from that good practice. Whatever happens in your life is continue. Don't be bothered by other people. That is your practice. Nobody will do that for you. It is you who has to continue. Stay consistent. Otherwise, you might do well on Vesak day. You might do well on a Koya day, full moon, new moon, and on a Katina day. But the rest of the time, that long period of time, you will fall down, stagnate in your practice. Okay? Keep your practice consistently, depending on the ceremony, depending on the practice, depending on the time, situation, circumstance. So, consistency and commitment. Dhamma journey is a commitment. It is not a paid service, right? It is a commitment. You have to commit to it in your own way. There's no one way of being committed. You may do your own meditation. You may do your own chanting practice. You may do your own. Do not try to correct other people. They do their way of practicing. Right? So everybody is happy. And so there is a very wholesome Dhamma journey that is going to happen among everybody. As I said earlier, Kalyana Mitra is very powerful because if you do not have Kalyana Mitra, those two friends, and you do not stay consistent, you do not stay committed, you do not, try to not to be intoxicated, try to be intoxicated, then you are not going to keep continuing your Kalyana Mitra practice. Next time when you are called as a Kalyana Mitra, you have to look at these aspects. Am I a Kalyana Mitra? Do I have enough Saddha, Sila, Chada, Prajna? Do I really have two Kalyana Mitras, at least? And then do I really stay consistent in my Dhamma journey? Do I really commit to it? Do I really not be bothered by what other people do in the same, practice? So these things should be really looked at in your Dhamma practice. Now, going on to the generosity. Now, as much as noble friendship is powerful, dana is going to be more powerful. That is an action, a volitional action. The word dana comes from Hinduism. It is not an innovative word to Buddhism. I would say 1500 years ago, 1500 BC, it was the time of the Brahmins and the Vedas. Since that time, dana has been practiced by Indians, Aryans. But what Buddhism is going to be different from that dana is something very interesting. Everybody wants to give dana, even in contemporary and ancient religions. They all offer dana. They all do dana. What is more important in the Buddha's way of dana is that we should be able to engage in dana in a wholesome way. Now that is what makes Buddhism different from others. The Buddha presents a wholesome dana. What is wholesome dana? They might say our dana is also wholesome. Wholesome dana primarily means when you are going to give or offer something to somebody, including the Mahasangha, you should be able to reduce the amount of your lobha, dosa, more. This is the wholesome way of giving, offering dana. This was not the practice of dana before the Buddha's time. It was simply expecting a bunch of things. Probably even killing, hurting other people, they were involved with dana. That is not the Buddhist way of dana. Now you understand? In Buddhism, the Buddha says that we need to give dana in the wholesome way. That makes Buddhism different from ancient and contemporary other philosophies, teachings. When we talk about dana, as I said earlier, it is a very important activity. Why is it? This is the gateway for anybody to become a Buddhist. Even when someone comes to see the Buddha, Buddha never talks about Nibbana. He never talks about Sila in the first place. He never talks about heavens, or I would say drawbacks of the karma. The first topic he talks about is Dana Katang, Sila Katang, Satta Katang. He has an orderly way of talking. Why he starts with dana? Because if the person who is trying to enter into the Buddhist teaching has no enough dana thoughts, it's not just the food offerings. It's a very bigger, larger context of being generous. If that person does not have generosity, generous mind, that person is not going to practice the rest of the teaching. That is the issue. Now say for instance, if you take a temple, most people come to the temple because of dana, not because of the dana. Dana is the initial entry point. It's good. That should be a very good one, because when you do your meditation, you are trying to get rid of lobha dosa. When you are doing a sila, you are trying to get rid of your what you call lobha dosa. There might be little extra advanced practices to some people, but you all can bring something over to the temple and offer to Bhantes, offer to Mahasangha. It's a simple activity. We're going to talk about that a little later. But even if it is a simple activity, the way how you do it with a good quality in the mind, that affects the purpose of the Buddha's way of considering dana. Right? So dana is the entry point that we all have to think about. Now, when you talk about dana, now it goes to many other topics. We are not going to talk all these topics. One of the things that we look at about dana is how to be a better donor, person who offers dana. The Buddha said there are 3 people who are offering dana, who are giving dana, 3 donors, the ways how they do that activity. The first one is dana dasa. Dana dasa is someone who is offering, who is giving things to somebody in a way lower than how he eats or consumes. So he or she may have things to offer, but he or she does not want to offer the same stuff, same things that the person eats or consumes. Always bring things to a place, always gives things to other people in a little lower way than he or she eats. Dana dasa. Buddha says he is okay, she is okay, but not the best way of doing that dana. So better than somebody who does not do anything, right? But that is one level of being a donor. There is another donor, the Buddha says, who is called to be dana sahayaka. Dana sahayaka. I would say someone who is giving, offering food or other things in the same way how he, she consumes. He or she can do better, but no, I'm doing the same way how I eat and drinks. Now the problem is that he or she can do better, but does not do better. He or she thinks everybody who is going to eat should be like me, should be like whoever is offering. The Buddha said this is the second layer of dana samaya. He's not very much happy about such people, very much happy. Happier than somebody who offers a little. Okay? At least he or she offers to the level he, she eats. Then there is another person, should be the highest here, dana pati, master of dana. This person offers or gives anything to the highest of what he, she can offer. Maybe he, she eats, consumes in a certain level, but when he or she is going to offer something, he's always thinking, what could be the best way to offer this now? Not my preference. Looking at the recipient's preference, maybe the Bhante's preference, maybe the person who is going to receive the don't think that I'm trying to say something about preferences of the Bhantes. But if you know what the recipient really needs, there might be something where you happy, they happy, right? It's good. Maybe sometimes a misconception, misunderstanding. So the Buddha says, always try to do the best. You may be financially not good, but do the best. You may be financially very rich, do the best. It is like the tax system. Huh? If you're earning a lot, you pay a lot. If you're earning less, you pay less. Right? Because it is how you can do such things. Let's talk about the objects. Now, preference. Now, we are not going to give anything that the particular recipient does not need, does not like. Not what you want to give. Yes, you want to give something, but you are concerned about what could be a good thing, article, item that the recipient would like to receive. Maybe a monk, maybe another person, maybe an orphanage, maybe someone else. Always concerned about what other people need. That is a higher thought, bodhisattva thought. Bodhisattva thought means that you are always concerned about other people. You go first. I'll be here. Bodhisattva thought. Until the last person is going to attain Nibbana, I am going to become a Bodhisattva. Bodhisattvas are like that. It is not just a Mahayana concept, it is the Theravada concept. Some people have made it difficult to think about. Bodhisattvas, they are difficult people. Okay? So we are very much concerned about other people when you are offering. Now in the case of monk, Mahasangha, you are concerned what could be a better offering to Mahasangha. Of course, we have four requisites, what you call chivara, ropes, pindapata, food, and I would say medicine, Vilanapancha, and then Senasana, shelter. So you are looking at what could be a better offering out of these four. Mahasangha, Manipasangha. But at the same time, when you are going to engage in a dana activity, I think you sometimes going to be a part of a potluck, right? A community dana. It's not one person is going to offer everything to monks and other people. So that is a good point because everybody is a part of that dana. So when you are in that particular activity, so you have to have a better communication among others, because otherwise there are different items coming up and you may not have a good agreement of the food that you are going to offer. So then misunderstandings can be minimized. That is very important. At the same time, we are concerned about the health of the person too, right? That's also a good powerful thing to think about, dana. Now, for example, I would say You could offer unhealthy stuff, right? Unhealthy stuff. Yes. But the Buddha says you should try to offer something that is healthier, is good, that will benefit the person, right? So you feel that you offered something good to that person, you are happy. That happiness is there. Not just thinking, I want to attain Nibbana, I simply do whatever I can. I don't care about the people. That is not the good part. If you want to do dana in the wholesome way, then you are thinking about whether my offering, maybe food, maybe something else, are they really going to work for the recipient, for the people who are receiving such offerings in a healthy way, in a good way, in a wholesome way. So we have to think about all those stuff. And on the other hand, there are a lot of things to talk about. Now, I would say in the Buddhist text, the Buddha always talks about rich people, poor people, many people. He doesn't mind about the financial level of people. What he minds is that whether that person is trying to reduce lower, dosa and more. That is the most important thing. Sometimes you are offering a very expensive dana, but you have lots of lower, lots of dosa, lots of more. Not about the food or whatever, but about your future life. Because in his first Dhamma talk, what was his first Dhamma talk? Dhamma Chakka Pavattana Sutta. He says about the cause of our dukkha. He says the cause of our dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, comes from craving. There are 3 types of craving. One craving is craving to be in the samsara. Right? We don't know whether we can attain Nibbana or not, but if you create some of the thoughts that may I be reborn this and that is considered as a tanha. Unless we attain Nibbana, we are definitely to be destined to be reborn. But we should not maintain such thoughts. Our main purpose is to at least to attain Sotapanna as soon as we can. We may not attain, but we have the thought. Right? Being reborn as a human is complementary in that context. It is definitely if you have thoughts of becoming a Sotapanna, that means you are definitely going to be reborn as a good human being. So the Buddha says that when you offer something to somebody, you should not try thinking about lots of sansara things, unless you transfer good karmas to Vihara people and share good karmas with the devas. Because if you're going to think about such, what will happen to you is that you will be attached to your what you call sansaric lives. May I be reborn as this and that, right? So do dana without attaching to the result. If you attach the result, if you are greedy for the result, you are going to destroy. Are there any simple ways of doing dana, being generous? Because our topic has something called how small steps lead to great progress in your dharma. Small steps. What are the small steps of being generous? How can we be differently generous? Should we all be good in the same way, or can we be good in different ways? What are your thoughts? Should we have to do everything in the same way like others, like our own Dhamma practice? No, we should not. We may come to a certain ceremony, we do the same thing, we do the chanting, but in our own private Dhamma journey, we don't need to do that. We should find out some small steps. What are the small steps with regard to generosity? I would like to know your opinion, your ideas. How can you become generous in the simplest ways, small ways sometimes?
Doing loving kindness. Loving kindness.
loving kindness. How is loving kindness going to be a dana? You have to give to somebody. That is how it will become a dana. Loving kindness is a cultivation. Then you have to give it to somebody. You have to give to you, give to others. That will become a dana. Is it an expensive thing? Is it a very difficult thing? You just cultivate and then spread, send to others. What other practices are there that we can do very simply in terms of dana? A smile, a good smile. Can you know smile why? Yes. That is a dana too. Yes, because we make other people happy. Right? That is a dana. Yes. For a good smile, you have to be a good person. Your heart has to be good. Right? If you take a look at many people, they are stressed out. They become very moody. They cannot be opening up. They have lots of things. Sometimes they are really unnecessary trashy stuff. But they are not able to smile from the bottom of the heart. A good smile. What else?
Listening here. Listening here. Listening here.
Listening here?
Here, here, here.
Listening here, that means good communication, and then I would say active listening. Not passive. When somebody talks to you, you don't have to talk sometimes. You just listen to that person. There are a lot of people who say, I don't need your solutions. I don't need any answers. Just listen to me. Because people at my home do not listen to me. Just listen to me. They feel very good. When you are giving your time to that person. Now, I think that's a very big one. And this is the problem that many families are going through. You don't listen to each other, so one person is going to shout at the other person is trying to raise his or her voice. There's no solution at all. A good ear, active listening, not passive listening. Loving kindness, a good smile, and then now we talk about
Pleasant speech.
active listening. Pleasant speech, that's a very good one too. How do we call it? Priya Vachan, speaking very pleasant words. In this world, how many people speak good, very comfortable, very pleasant words? Not many. Why is it? They are not very much concerned about other people. I don't care what other people talk about. I just do whatever. Then you are not concerned about others. How was the Buddha's speech? Very pleasant, very pleasing. When somebody is talking some pleasant words, that could be your medicine. Right? You are happy for the whole day. But when someone starts complaining, criticizing, I would say nagging, winning, your whole day will be a mess. Because you are not getting that dana from that person. You can't complain about other people. But if you are trying to set an example to other people, I only speak good stuff, good words, good contents. Then other people also will turn good to you. But while talking bad words, do not expect others will talk pleasant things to you. It is a responsibility. It is a mutual thing. If you are good to other people, they will be good to you. Most probably. Always start from here. Do not expect others to be good to you. You be a good person first. Other people will be automatically good to you. Even animals are like that. Huh? When you talk in a very rushed way to animals, they are very different. But when you are talking to some animals in a very nice, good way, they also become very tame. They know that this person is talking to us, talking to me very nicely. So I have to show my loyalty. A dog comes around and then trying to wag the tail, I offer my this is what I can do, wagging my tail. I can't do anything else. They can feel that thing which is coming out of the humans. What else? Pleasant speech.
Patience.
Patience. I think that is the highest dana actually, right?
Tolerance.
Right? Because
Tolerance.
yeah, tolerance. Yeah, one of the ways of looking at patience. Patience is the highest dana to me, I think. Why is it? In one sutta text, the Buddha says, all the kusala thoughts start from kanti. Kanti means tolerance, patience. Even when you go see a doctor, you will become a patient. Why you are becoming a patient? You have to be patient before you see the doctor. Right? You can't bypass the other patient and go say, hey, I have a problem, please treat. You have to be patient. So the Buddha says, all kusala thoughts, lobha, adosa, dana, metta, panya, nekkhamma, aditthana, upekka, all these wholesome thoughts are rooted in patience. Why is it? Otherwise you can't survive. You can't survive with that practice. Let's say someone is going to give dana. In the halfway of dana, she feels a little frustrated, annoyed for something. Because many are putujjanas, right? Normal people. The fundamental reason why they become like that is that they are not patient. Sometimes good things do not happen right away. They take time, right? They take some time. So why don't we wait for it? Patience. Even we can learn from the Buddha's life. Even we can learn from us. Sometimes you do not look at yourself very well. If you look at yourself very well, you see how much patience gave you this success so far. If you look at it properly. Sometimes take your personal time. Think about your life. If I had not been patient at that time, I would have run into a big argument, big problem with my family, other people. But I was patient. Lucky, I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed that I was able to not run out of my patience. The Buddha says. So I think it is one of the best giving. Maybe when somebody is very mad at you, very mean to you, one of the very good ways of giving dana is be patient. So he or she is going to give you a bad dana, but you are going to stay in that positive dana, minimizing issues. What else? We are looking at different types of danas. Simple ways. They are very simple. Not as sorry? A kindness. They are very buzzwords in the world. Kindness. How can we be kind to others? There are many ways to be kind to others. Why are we supposed to be kind? It is because the Buddha did the same. Every morning, once he woke up, what did he do? He was searching for the people who he can help on that particular day. But what do many people do once they wake up? In today's world, who is my rival, enemy? What I can do for them? Who is my business rival? You start your day with very unwholesome thoughts. If you are a unique person, if you are a talented person, you don't have to worry about others. It will take time for you to go there, patience, but you are getting there. The Buddha started the day, that is an example to us. Who am I going to help today in my practice? What a beautiful way of thinking about that. Maybe you are going to volunteer today. You are going to do a blood donation. You are going to do dana. You are going to teach somebody. You are going to give a helping hand to somebody. What a good way of starting the day. Very simple. Inexpensive. You don't have to spend any money, any single money, any buck, any dollar, any ringgit. See, it is your attitude, the way you look at dana. But do not forget, you should keep continuing your normal way of giving dana, but at the same time, think about there are many other ways of being generous. Money is not a problem. It is your money. Right? It is your money. And we have seen people at the time of the Buddha who were very rich. They were really good to the Buddha, like Anapindika and all that. But there were some rich people who were trying to give dharma, but they were not as good as someone who is financially not good, but their mind was very rich. Mind's richness is very important. How to make your mind rich? Always try to look for dharma, generosity. Always look for metta. Always look for being wise. Do not get, bothered by unnecessary things. You are seeing a clear picture of your practice. Right? So affordability is not a problem. It is just you are unable to looking at simple ways to do it. There are many. Actually, they are not very simple. They are simple, but the impact is very huge. Is very serious, very impacting, very influential. So I think it has power. It has very much good potential. So I think Kalyana Mittaka and Dana, they are more powerful than you think. That is what I want to say again. They are more powerful because you might have thought that they are maybe valuable to you, they are good to you in a certain cultural form. But in real practice, they are very influential for us to take to the next level. All right, any questions?
One thing I noticed our way of life. Many people, whether purposely or not purposely, they waste food. They buy, eat, and then not necessarily that much. They cannot finish, they waste food. And tomorrow they buy again. Tomorrow they waste food again. So can you say something?
Well, we know every moment someone dies because there is no food for them to eat, especially in some countries. If that is the truth, although you can afford lots of food, I think it is not good to waste. If you want to take something to eat, if you want to buy something for somebody, it is always good to look at whether you are trying to waste food. So just because you can afford, it is not a good idea to waste food. Even the Buddha Puja, even something we offer to the Buddha, right? We are trying level best to plan what we are going to do for the food, even for the Buddha. So I think it is a personal failure, personal bad virtue of many people, where they do not think that not every human being has affordability to buy food. They are not thinking such. They are thinking that it is enough only if I eat whatever food I want, but they are not concerned about other beings. So that is why I say Bodhisattva way of thinking is that you are always looking at how other people consume what I consume, right? You have lots of compassion towards those people. So you try level best to do something for them. At least in your practice, I'm not going to waste any food. I'm not gonna, even you go for a buffet restaurant, you are not trying to, take food that you are not gonna consume, not gonna finish, right? You're always concerned. There are people who are dying. You have compassion towards them. So you are doing something, I'm only eating whatever I'm gonna be to eat. That way of practice is good. I think a good human being will never waste food. So I'm not talking about others. So if some of you still waste food, a good reminder is that now there's a wake-up call that you should not do that. It is not good because there are human beings, even some animals who have no food, gonna die. So think about them too, and then make your practice.
The mind is rich.
Mind is, what does you mean, distracts?
It's rich.
Mind is rich, okay. Yeah, good. In Buddhism, mind is rich means you have kusala thoughts. You are cultivating kusala thoughts, alobha, adosa, amana, so that mind is getting its highest quality. Because we are always with lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, delusion. That way our mind becomes very poor, very a place of lot of misinformation. It's a factory of misinformation. So then the mind has no good quality, right? Mind gets its quality by ways of cultivating and reaching up to higher levels of kusala thoughts, alova, adosa, amo, and the rest of all the good qualities, all the good thoughts. You will become rich, your mind will become rich based on how much good qualities you could cultivate within you. And it has to be a consistent practice. Not today you meditate, tomorrow you are running into an argument with somebody. Today you go to a long retreat, you talk about good things, tomorrow you're going to be the evil monster. You are not staying consistent in your practice. So make it rich consistently. Then you will feel that rather than I keep a quantity of thoughts, I'm trying to aim at the good quality of my mind, but I'm not even attached to that quality. But I'm developing wholesome thoughts, alova, adosa, amo. Make sense? Yeah, it is by ways of quality thoughts. Quality thoughts to us are the thoughts which come from kusalas.
How do you know that you are improving to the next level?
Yeah, when you don't have a personal Dhamma understanding, like when somebody does not have, it is difficult to trace it. But when you personally develop those alova, adosa, amona thoughts, then you know by yourself that this is happening within me. Take for instance, when you bring dana, when you give something, you have a personal joy. You feel it. That I am not holding on to something. I am giving up and I'm giving away. You feel happy. Rather than you trying to take things to you. You are so much scared people will leave you. I will lose my money. I will lose my everything. But when you have at different times, at least consistently, the thought of giving away, offering, you feel so happy. You feel that you have that happiness. That is long-standing, long-lasting too. I want to add something to that. Now, what will happen to somebody after dana? This is more important than everything. The Buddha says it is very difficult for many people to be happy after offering dana. They have happiness before offering dana. Okay, I'm going to go to the temple, I'm going to do something. But during the dana also they can maintain that happiness. But after dana, my money, did I offer to somebody really good? Did I spend on the right thing? A lot of thoughts are going to come to that person's mind. Now, the problem is, if you are not properly addressing those thoughts, you will lose the vipakas of that dana. That is why the Buddha said to monks, after dana, bless people and at least give a dhamma. Because he knew this would happen. Do not just walk away from dana. Give something, say something good about the merits, offering, transfer, at least give a blessing to the people. Right? So, just as you come up with a good thought to offer dana, being generous, at the beginning, during the time, you should be very concerned about what will happen to your mind after dana. Whatever the thought that comes to me, okay, I gave some food to the temple. Oh, I could not bring the ice cream. I could not bring that particular dish. Now you are trying to worry about it. You won't worry. Because that frustration will ruin your rest of the kusala thoughts. So more negative thoughts will rise up, pop up, take over the good stuff, good thoughts. So now it's over. You can again go and offer one day. Right? That is how the Buddha asks us to think of it. Always be positive. So post-dharma situation is very important. Some people, they struggle a lot. Most people. All right, any other questions?
For a person who wants you to give dana to Bhante, how should we tell them? Somebody wants you, how should we tell them that before, during, and after dana, the thought processes? How should we tell them so that they are being composed?
I do not think that it's good to advise them because they are very newbies. They are newcomers. Do not complicate anybody like that. So after some time we can have a conversation if we really want to say. Then we can tell them there is something like this. You can maybe they are already doing that. We never know. Who knows? They may have a good mind already. We don't know other people's mind very well, right? We only know their mind by what they talk to us. So for a newbie, for a newcomer, we should not give a lot of information to them. One thing is that they might not come back. At the same time, too much stuff will go to them. Let them come and then do their dana and then interact with the Bhantes and then experience the situation. Go back home. They will learn one day. Maybe a Bhante or a devotee, one day they can talk about it. So I'm not bothered by newbies, newcomers. So newcomers will embrace everything in their own way. To my understanding, most people may have it already. Right? This is just an additional inspiration. So we don't have to say it at the beginning. Kota and Dana are more powerful actions than we think. They are not just cultural activities, they are not just Dhamma things only. They have to be looked at very differently. And then we also talked about that Kalyana Mitrata is very important. Do not ever think that you can just practice alone. Because we must be inspired in our practice with the Buddha and then with other somebody, maybe others. And Dana, do not take it as simple practice. It is going to be a very interesting, very deep practice in your mind. You may do the same dana, but in your mind, you are going to be a much, much better person. Right? Some people wrongly understand when they practice some other small practices, they might think, no, I don't want to do dana anymore from today. Now I'm going to do meditation. That is a wrong understanding. Why? Why is it? Dana, sila, meditation, they all are connected together. You cannot only choose one and two. They all are connected. It's a combined practice. Yes, gentlemen.
Bhante, there's one question here.
Yes.
Today is a very free world. Man and woman mix everywhere. Whether in office, school, same thing goes to the Buddhist temple, Buddhist association. So what is your advice to male followers and female followers taking part of any activities in the temple? So how should they, keep a distance, knowing exactly code of conduct, etc., etc.?
Well, this is something that we already understand our space, our boundary. I don't think they have to think again in the temple because males and females know their boundaries and they may have their civilized, cultured way to being good, nice to each other and then learn something out of the temple and then involve in the temple things and then say hi-bye and then leave the temple. And I don't think it's a big deal. So it depends on the mindset of the two genres. Actually, in Buddhism, we don't treat anybody based on gender. We think everybody is a being. This life you are a man, next life you become a female. Who knows? This life you may be a female, you may become a man next life. So our concern is whether every human being has access to the quality Dhamma practice. If the monk or whoever the committee or whoever the people trying to facilitate that thing to everybody, and this culture, human beings will definitely benefit without making their gender a problem. That's what I think. So I think it's how we have to look at it. I haven't seen that is a problem, so I think everybody knows their boundaries, space, and then being nice to each other, and then they work together. All right, so let's take another 2 minutes, and then we will go to the transfer of subjects. Anyone has any more questions about today's topic? Yes, please. I will answer the first part of the question.
Okay, normally for that when butted to children, when they offer dana, I think it's much meaningful because they are the children of the butted, right?
Yes.
But in the case that in this family, the children do not do any dana for the butted parents, whatever, and family member, okay, does the dana for the butted. So which is more meaningful, the child, the children do dana, or only they do dana for the butted?
Excellent question. Now, every parent, when they die, Buddhist parents, of course, they said that they all believe that their children, if they have children, they would give merit transference to them. Atacha, Panapetana, Kalakatana, Dakina, Anpadasana. But for some reason, this might not happen. Maybe there are children who are not happy with their parents about inheritance. Maybe some of the sharing, some of the attitudes, right? At least in your example, somebody is willing to, maybe another family member, will be going to offer dana to them. If the children are not doing that, that is their karma. That is what they are carrying forward. At least I hope that they will understand one day that they should do something. But immediately, a family member or some other people understand that we should do something for this gentleman, this lady, because there is nobody is giving merit transference to them. So they are creating good karmas. So I think it might not be a good thing for their children, but at least someone is doing good karmas to their father and mother. So it's a good thing. That is how we handle it. All right, it seems that there are no more questions. So once again, I want to tell you that the power of Kalyana Mitrata and Dana is more important, is more powerful actually. They have a big bearing on our life. So think about these two subjects in different ways. So you will do even small practices, even small things in a very great high way, because you might think that they are standalone practices, but they are not standalone. As I said, they are a combined practice. You have to look for different ways to practice the same good virtue. Like some of you said, metta, kanti patience, good communication, compassion, they all are dhanas. You might say this is because in order for you to be so, you have to do something from yourself. That will become a dana. So dana is the connection, the bridge between you and that particular virtue as well. So please look for different avenues to be good in those things, especially to do good in your Kalyana Mitrata practice and to do your dana in different good ways too. All right, so let's reflect upon all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today by ways of listening to a Dhamma talk, this Vasana Dhamma talk. Especially, may all the good karmas be transferred to all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. If the departed people who passed away in the name of all of us were reborn in a place of discomfort, pain, may they be able to be reborn by releasing from those states of realms into a good place, comfortable place. If they are already reborn in a place of I would say, happiness, comfort. May they be able to improve their life in those places, and may they be able to be well and happy, and finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnati namo sukhita hontu jnate. Idam me jnati namo sukhita hontu jnate. Idam me jnati namo sukhita hontu jnate. May all the good karmas be shared by all the devas, nagas and maitas. May devas, nagas and maitas be well and happy, and may they bless and protect all of you. Bhante Chandaranda, the Bhikkhuni Sadanandi, and all of you. In particular, our videographer today, Stephani, she has been going through some of the treatments, and may all you be protected and blessed by everybody, especially by the devas, nagas and maitas. And this Dhamma talk was made possible by Sister Melaka, and she done a lot of things to organize this too, at the same time with Bhante, Chandima, and all the rest of the devotees here who have come here to learn, listen, learn, and one day to apply and practice. May all of you, along with your family members, your grandkids, be protected and blessed by the devas, nagas, and maitas for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. Finally, may Devanaga Mahitika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sambhasam patti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantam anumoditva chiran rakhantu kasasana. Akasattha ca bhummatta devanaga punyantam anumoditva chiran rakhantu vesana. Akasattha ca bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantam anumoditva chiran rakhantu vam paramati chiran rakhantu vam sadati. May we be in the company of the Kalyana Mitras once again, noble friends, and not with the Papa Mitras who are trying to drag us away from Buddhamaja. Thinking thus, we are going to make this wish. Imina punya kamine mami vana samagamo satang samagamo yavani vana bhaktiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today in all these ways, by learning, listening, engaging in the Dhamma discussion, may all these good karmas be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, Abhivadana sisa nityam vardha pachayo chattaru dhamma vardhanti ayuvano sukham balam ayurarogya sampatti sakha sampatti nivacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samimujaya. I want to say Anumodana to Bhante Chandaranda for facilitating this Dhamma talk during this Vasana time along with Sister Malika. Thank you everybody, have a good night. And there's something that I think Sister Malika or somebody else.
Bhante Chandima, shall we give a 3 calls to Bhante? Anyone want to offer